What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Dolphins on Duke. This week we have Duke Associate Head Coach Chris Carrawell talk about how the team's grown this season and pulling out a couple of close wins in the last few weeks. But as always, make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss any of our uploads. Check us out over on YouTube at the Field 68. That's where we post clips of my podcast and the rest of our podcasts across the network. Reach out to us on Twitter at the Field 68 and my personal Twitter at Dre_Dawkins. Let us know what you think. Let us know who you want to hear from next. Disclosure, we did record this on Thursday morning right after the UVA game. So if you hear Sewell saying last night, that's why. But enjoy this one and we'll see you on the next one. So this week we got Associate Head Coach Duke Basketball, the one and only Chris Carrawell. What's going on, brother?
What's up, Dre Day? What's going on?
I'm chilling, man. So, you guys have the regular season. Actually, let me start. We're recording this today, but it'll be out right before the Carolina game. So it'll be next week this time.
Yeah, like Wednesday next week is what I'm planning for. So
all right. So I'll kind of be talking in that space.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this week we got Associate Head Coach Chris Carrawell. What's going on, bro?
What's up, Dre? What's going on with you, man?
I'm chilling. Just enjoying watching the games, watching you guys play. So with the regular season coming to an end, what are some of the keys for you guys heading into the postseason? One and done tournaments coming up. What are you guys focused on?
Yeah, just really executing game plans on both ends. Mm-hmm. We scout these teams, really hard, our coaching staff, and then just try to implement a game plan where our guys can understand it. Just because you may know it, and know all the information doesn't mean they need to know everything. Mm-hmm. Just want them to focus on the main points. And then these games are coming down to the stretch. Last night we played against UVA. I mean, that's a possession by possession game. And, execution down the stretch is huge. We did a good job of defending them down the stretch, and we made a couple big plays on the offensive end with AJ hitting a couple threes, Trevor finishing on a break. And so you need those type plays in March, man, because, a team's never out of it. A team's never out of it when it comes down to that. You could be up 10, a 10-point lead can go like that in a couple minutes. So just execution on both ends and, getting ready. You said, before, like, it's physical. It was really physical last night. Mm-hmm. But that's how it's going to be in March. That's how it's going to be in March. So you got to get ready for
it. Yeah. You talked about scouting a little bit. Give us a little insight on, from you as a coach, what that scouting process is like and how you, like you said, whittle down the things that you have to get to the guys. And some things you say, okay, maybe that's a bit too much.
Yeah. I just try to, what I was doing probably early in the year, I had the Gonzaga scout, the Kentucky scout. You try to watch as much as you can, right? Mm-hmm. And it's early on. The guys don't know your system, fully. So you got to kind of hit on every small, minute detail. Then as the season on, I've had to change it, like a little bit. Now it's different because sometimes you got a day in between. But for the most part, I found out lately, like, less is more. Mm-hmm. So I've watched, instead of watching 3, 4, 5 games, which I've watched and concentrated on 2 games. And now, I think it, it's been better. I had to adjust to it, something I learned. And then I think it helps with our guys. Dre, we've been in a position where at the end of the year, the coaches, their voice is like, they can,
yeah.
Like, yeah. I know, like, it's all good. I was in that position, like, I got you. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you got them, sometimes you don't, but they can tune you out. And nothing, personal. It's just, kids, young college kids, we kind of, we lose interest quickly.
Yeah.
So just, trying to get these guys the most important information, not all the information, but the most important information.
So, when you do a scout and then, you guys obviously have tendencies, you talk about that, things like that. And then speaking of the UVA game, and then you got a guy like Kihei Clark who comes out and hits 6 threes in the first half. How do you adjust, or what are you saying to the team in the huddle when he's not a guy who's typically scoring points in bunches like that? He's usually just running the team, getting other guys the ball. How do you adjust your game plan that you've gone over for the last few days when guys just white hot like that?
Man, I'm telling you, Andre Dawkins hot. I mean, you gotta. After you hit 3, after you hit 3 threes in the first half, you gotta, okay, I gotta play this guy now.
Yeah.
You could tell he had a different type swag, a different type rhythm yesterday. He misses, and his first miss was a bad miss. But then he just, after he hit that first one, it was coming out like, he was like, that's going in. It was coming out. He had that Steph Curry, you know what I'm saying? He had that look. And so you got to adjust now. You got to play him. You don't dig as much. You got to, and if you do dig, you back out to him quickly. And so he made some tough shots last night. I thought we would be good, Dre, last night when he had 6 threes in the first half. And after his 6th 3 or 5th 3, we were only down 5.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, usually a guy gets hot like that, the game's over.
Yeah.
You're down 20. He didn't broke the game open.
Mm-hmm.
But we're down, I think we're down 22-17. And I was like, okay, we're okay. We'll be okay. And eventually that's what happened.
Yeah. It was crazy. I think he had like 20 of the first 24 or something like that.
Man, he was going crazy, man.
Yeah, it was nuts. How much of it, because when I was watching it, I think I kind of tweeted this out. Basically, how much do you understand that he's gonna come back down to earth? He's not gonna hit, he's not gonna hit another 6 in the second half. Well, hopefully. How much of that are you telling the team, or are you like, no, we just gotta be there.
Yeah,
make sure
you got to absolutely, you got to guard him now.
Yeah.
You hit 6, even if he hits another 3 more, that's a crusher.
Mm-hmm.
But a team that doesn't make threes, for him to make 8, 9 threes, you lose the game. Mm-hmm. I mean, you won that game, what, it was 65-61?
Yeah.
I mean, he makes another 2 threes, the game is over. And so, yeah, you got to guard him. Now it's like, you still digging a little bit because he was a quicker shooter last night. He had to shoot, you know what I'm saying? He was getting that thing off last night, man. He had a hell of a game. He's a big time player, man. Mm-hmm. Especially, big time players, they step up in the big time moments. And, for him, seniors, his 4th year, he's won a national championship. I mean, he's tough as they come, man. I got a lot of respect for that cat.
Yeah.
Or I shouldn't say cat, that kid.
Where do you feel like the team has grown the most over the course of the season?
I think this group has been together, and early on when AJ Griffin wasn't playing that much or playing well, he's kept working. And when he came back, man, like a man on a mission. And our guys have accepted that. This has been a team that's been really accepting of one another's success. And that the best teams are. It doesn't care if you score 20 points, 25 points, and we win, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Paolo, they're gonna look at Paolo last night, and he didn't score the ball well, but he played his best defensive game against Gardner. I mean, Gardner kicked our butts the first game.
Yeah.
First half, he might have had 2 points. Now he scored some in the second half, but I mean, the job that P did on him, nobody's gonna talk about that, and so I think our guys, man, they support one another, and that's unique because it's a young group still.
Yeah.
And people, you jockeying for position, your own individual stuff too, and trying to, you want to win, but you also want to play well individually. But our guys, look, man, hey, won my night, good job, we won, and they're really happy for one another.
Yeah, one of those guys I feel like has been Jeremy recently, with the AJ kind of coming on in the last month or so. Jeremy was starting at the one most of the season, and AJ's jumped into the starting lineup and, slid Jeremy down to the bench. But especially these last, 4 or 5 games, he's been really good knocking down shots. UVA game, he was huge, hit some big shots in that game. So, I mean, how important has he been in not, how do I say it, not being so into himself, like, oh, I'm on the bench now. I'm just going to check out. Seems like he's still been really engaged and still been locked in and helping the team win some games.
Yeah, Roach is a starter. Roach is a starter. He's a sixth starter. He's a guy that, he's going to play starters minutes. And so for him, the main thing with him is just, play your game. He's talented. And sometimes when he puts a lot of work in, man. Sometimes, and for him, he wasn't seeing his work being rewarded. And so you get down, we can say, oh man, keep shooting, man, be confident. But I'm working. I'm shooting, I'm holding my follow through. And it hadn't been happening for him. And last night was Jeremy Roach. He was confident from the start, no hesitation, getting to the bucket. I always say for perimeter players, if you can get a lay, a couple lays, he got those. He had a good mix, man. And so he was 6 or 7 from the field last night. But he played great defense. He was engaged. He was a leader. And if we can have that going down the stretch, man, that just gives you another guy who can beat you. And he can when he's right.
Yeah. Another guy who hit some huge shots was AJ in that UVA game. Do you feel like we're just seeing like the beginning of what he can do, given how long he was out and not able to play, and he's really just now kind of getting back into the flow of playing basketball, a few times a week?
Yeah, man. He just turned 18, in August, late August at that. He's still man, I'm telling you, he's such a young kid, man, but he's such a talented individual. And I'll say that he's one of the best young kids that I've ever met. I mean, he's a great kid, man. Stay working hard, but just a good individual, man. Just off the court, just that dude don't got a bad bone in his body, man. All about the right things, man. His faith in God, and he's even, our guys are going to Bible class now, before home games, and he's been a leader of that, and I think all of our guys go, and they're involved, and just a beautiful kid, man. And so when you see good things happening to good people, he's that, and you're just happy for him, man. And he's just scratching the surface, Dre.
Yeah,
that dude got a lot of potential, man. I'm telling you, when he's 22 years old, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
it's gonna be a problem for a lot of people.
Problem, man. He don't even really know what he's doing yet,
Yeah.
And he just, he just out there hooping, So, yeah, man, we love him, man. We love him.
So you guys had a bunch of games, come down to the wire. All the losses have been, close down the stretch. But you've been able to pull out the last couple against Wake, against UVA. What's the difference in pulling the games out versus, not winning the games down the stretch in these last few possessions?
Yeah, I just think that's what it is. Earlier in the year, we lost to Ohio State. It was a close game down the stretch. They made the plays. Then we lost to Miami by, I think, 2. We lost to Florida State by 1, Virginia by 1. You lose these games. We lost 3 games in the conference by 4 points.
Yeah.
And so, but then now, we've won a couple of close games. I think you got to go through stuff throughout the course of the season. Got to have some trials, man. Got to have some trials throughout the season, because it prepares you.
Yeah.
So if we hadn't lost those games early, you don't want to lose those games. But now, like, okay, we're going to be in these situations over and over again. The teams are going to play their best against us. You know this, I know this every day. Kehoe Clark, who, he can hit 6 threes.
Yep.
Guys on scouting report that, hey man, he's not a shooter. They play free against us.
He can be a shooter tonight.
I'm gonna be a shooter tonight. It's a no lose, man. It's a no win, no lose, man. I don't care. These guys be playing free, man.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are the type of games we're gonna be in. So to have those experiences early in the season, conference season, and now being able to come through late, I mean, it shows growth from our guys.
Yeah. How much do you have to balance between saying, in these, like you said, you lost 3 conference games, about 4 points. How much are you balancing saying we're right there, but, we also have to, have 2 extra points and win the game, especially as the postseason is coming up.
Yeah, no, that's what those earlier losses, where you show like, okay, look, man, this is the game situation now. Everybody got, because there's always something you can take away from both wins and losses. But even when the losses you take away, you can take away the most. And so now those losses earlier, now you watch film with the guys like, okay, here's the game situation. Let's take a look at these last 4 minutes. We didn't talk. We didn't switch. We drove. A guy was open. We didn't kick. We didn't come up with that loose ball. Mm-hmm. It's so many little things that, people look like, oh man, that guy, he missed the shot. Or, oh man, that guy, man, it's so many little plays that happen throughout the course of a game that, the fan, they just looking at the final score, the final shot, man. We try to look at those, even going back to the beginning of the game, Dre, where, okay, those plays early in the game that you don't make, they could affect you late game. Yeah. So it's a process, man.
Before we continue our conversation, let me tell you guys a little bit about our partners over at BetRivers Sportsbook. If you haven't signed up with BetRivers yet, now's the time because they are offering a $250 match bonus for your first deposit. But what sets them apart is that they require just one playthrough to turn your bonus into cash money. With their new Rush Pay instant approval, withdrawing your winnings is safer, more secure, and more reliable. With basketball season in full swing, get in on the action by going to betrivers.com today or by downloading the BetRivers iOS app. Must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. So when you are coming down the stretch of games, tight games, last few possessions, how difficult is it on you as coaches? I mean, I guess it's a good problem to have, but knowing you got so many guys that can score a ball in different ways, how difficult is it to say, okay, we're going to go with this play, we're going to go to this guy, or is it just a situational thing? Someone's hot, someone's not. How does that process work?
Yeah, more situational. Yeah. We always try to get Paulo a touch, like in his sweet spots, which is, that mid-post area on the block off the elbow and then play out of there. But then you get a situation like yesterday where, it was tough for him on the offensive end last night. He was struggling a little bit. And so we needed somebody to make some plays. So what we did, and coach made a great adjustment. He went small. Put Paulo at the 5, kind of spread it open a little bit, and AJ ended up hitting a couple shots.
Yep.
But that adjustment right there, hey, let's see, because it's tough to score against those guys.
Yeah.
There's really no mismatches on the floor. They can guard, and so now we took Mark out. Now, okay, that puts you in a tough spot.
Yeah.
AJ was able to make some shots because, the guy guarding was accustomed to guarding a perimeter player. They're big, Cedric. And so he had 2 threes where it's like, man, two big shots.
Yeah.
And so it's just situational. But we always try to go through Paulo. But if Trevor got a game going, we go to him. When Dale got a game going, we hit him. AJ, like, these guys got games going. We don't, like, we see that and we try to exploit that.
Yeah. Mark, is leading the conference in blocks this season. How much better does he make the whole defense, not just the interior defense, but the whole defense. When guys can be confident out on the perimeter that, if they get beat, Mark's back there and got their back.
I mean, Mark's had a heck of a year, man.
Yeah.
He's had a heck of a year, man. He works his tail off. He's in the gym. He's him and Theo has been, man. That's been a good mix. And he's if not the best shot block in the country, he's top 3.
Yeah.
He protects that rim at a high level, man. If you coming down the lane, and like I got beat knowing that he's there. You can pressure a little bit more. You can take more chances, and he's done a great job, man. The timing, the athleticism. I mean, he had 4 blocks last night.
Yeah, he had the 2 on the one possession.
On the one possession, and so we made a conscious effort. They're bigs. People don't talk about this, but their bigs. The first game against us had 24 points, 16 rebounds. Cedric was 8 for 8. Cafaro had a really good game against us. And so that was a message to the bigs. And so our guys took that personal, and they came out and we won that matchup last night.
Yeah. How much in ACC you're playing some teams twice? How much adjusting do you do from one game to the next, or does it depend on? This guy did well last game, so we're going to have to switch how we do things on him. How much adjusting do you guys do as coaches in your scouting plan from one game to the next in conference?
Yeah, you do a lot, Dre. You do a lot, man. And so, especially when you lose, when you lose to the team, you definitely break down areas. Okay, like we need to show up on this, whether it's a play they ran, whether it was a player that had a really good game against us. What were they doing on defense, against us, offenses that kind of caused us to not play well on that end as well. So you look at both sides of the ball, then you try to come up with a plan, in those meetings that like, okay, let's come up with something. Let's talk. Let's watch film. Let's watch the practice. And, we did a good job, man. And Coach said this last night, this was probably the best job we've done in a while. I thought we prepared well against Gonzaga and we in Kentucky. But in conference, look, we've had some games where we played well, and prepared. We prepare, but against a team that, man, you got to be sharp on everything. And because one mistake, they're gonna make you pay for it. I thought this was our best job. And then, all the coaches, we get together, man. We all get together. Like this was my scout last night. But I got input from John. Nolan did a hell of a job working with the guards. Emil and I with the bigs. John just, having it overseeing, like looking at stuff and just taking a peek at, like, man, we all. And then Coach, man, that dude's 75 years old, man. That dude, he coached a heck of a game last night. Yeah, it was too because Coach Bennett is a hell of a coach.
Absolutely.
Coach, he got into his bag last night, man.
Yeah,
he got into it. He was on it last night, man. He was good, really, really good, man. And people say that like no, but like just because you are the GOAT don't mean you the GOAT every night. You know what I'm saying? Like, and because we got big time coaches, he was sharp last night, man. Really, really sharp.
Yeah. This is just out of curiosity, but like in the postseason, NCAA tournament, stuff like that. How deep do you go into? Especially like teams ATOs or like situational plays, because I used to remember in situations in the tournament like CC or Woj, whoever had the scout, we'd be in situations down the stretch and they'd be like, oh yeah, watch out for this, he's gonna have the hammer screen on the backside, and I'm like, we ain't never watched that in film, like what are you talking about? But then like we go out there and sure enough there's hammer on the backside. How far back, I mean, are you looking at like full season at that point?
Nah, I just you look at the big games, games that were really good games, the games were a really good team where they lost early in the year. Sometimes you go back into the archives, and break that game down. Like, got to be ready for this. They might pull this out. Some stuff you like,
you don't use it in scouting, but you have it.
You got it in there. Dre, you know this. You can only, as a player, to me, you can only go over a couple, three, four things.
Yeah.
After that, but those, so and then you try to give them a couple specials, but then you also got to know a couple things like, okay, this is what they don't know, or what I know, and then try to be like, yo, be ready for this.
Yeah.
And so, Virginia ran a play against Virginia Tech, and they got a lob on it, box lob. They got a lob on it. Shedrick got a lob on it when they played against Virginia Tech. And so we went over that play on the day, scouting in the morning at the hotel. And they ran that play late game to get a lob. Now, we didn't guard it great, but we guarded it good enough where Roach ended up getting
he got the foul. Yeah.
He got the foul, which was not a shooting foul.
Yeah.
And so now they take it out of bounds, right? And so just little things like that. Now, nobody knows, but we see like, man, that was box live. They would have had a dunk. But Roach saw it. Paulo or whoever got knocked off.
Yeah.
And Roach was there to get in the way.
Yeah. And he would have had it. He just jumped early.
Yeah. But that's a huge play.
Yeah.
A huge play.
Yeah. So most of the college basketball world have their eyes on Cameron for Coach's last game against Carolina Saturday. You have any thoughts on like what that's going to be like, the atmosphere? I'm sure there'll be a bunch of celebrities there. A bunch of us former players will probably be there. What are you anticipating for that night?
Come on, man. That's gonna be Dre, that's gonna be it's gonna be emotional night.
Yeah.
The guys been there for if you was born from 19 our generation, that's all we know.
Yeah.
My generation and a little bit of ahead, that's all you know. He's been the coach that long, man. So from that standpoint, man, that's like, man, that really is the end of a long era.
Yeah.
A long era, man. And just, all he's accomplished, all he's done for the game, all those former players. I mean, it's going to be a emotional night, man. Special night, though, because, you got to give it up for a guy who's done it at a high level for such a long time, man. He's given everything to the game, man. When you see this guy, we played for him, Dre, and I had the opportunity to work for him, man. Come on, man.
Yeah.
This dude, he really, I never knew a guy can love, like, I love playing. Like, to me, playing is, I never seen a guy love coaching more than him, man. That dude love to coach, man. I'm telling you, man, he love it. It's in his blood, man. I asked him one time on a recruiting trip, and I'll share this with you. We were going to Charlotte, and I was driving, and we had a couple hours, so I'm like, I want to get into that brain a little bit.
Yeah.
See what's going on with that cat. And I asked him, I said, Coach, I said, if you didn't coach, if you wasn't Coach K coaching basketball, what would you do? So I nothing else. Like that was it.
Yeah.
I didn't have a backup plan.
Yeah.
This is what I was going to do. And, I just think that guys, God choose people to do special things in life, like the Michael Jordans of the world, Serena Williams, those Beyoncés, Tom Hanks, the great, great people in their craft. I think they've chosen, because there's other great people as well. But, these people all continuously rise to the top. And he's one of those guys out of all the coaches. There's been other great coaches, but it's only been one K, man. And he was chosen, man. He was chosen.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got for you this morning. I'll let you get back to probably working, I guess. I know y'all busy.
About to head over there, grab some coffee, maybe something. Get back to work, man. Tell Monty I said what's up.
All right, man. I appreciate the time. Good luck the rest of the year and into the postseason. Hopefully we see you guys in New Orleans.
No doubt, my boy. All right.
Appreciate you.